And today we're going to Atlanta, Georgia to visit with Chris Morrison, who is a chef and an entrepreneur, and he has a really interesting company that you're going to want to hear about. But we're going to find out a little bit about Chris and this nickname that he has, but we'll leave that right for the end of the show. So it's a perfect nickname. But anyway, Chris, thank you so much for being here.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you for having me today.
So tell us about your journey on becoming a chef. Like what made, have you been a chef like all your working life? What inspired you to become a chef?
Yes, I've been in the industry for over 20 years now, so it has definitely been a full part of my life. It all started when I was really young with my grandmother Elsie. And my grandfather Tex. So Tex and Elsie, they're the ones that were the cooks of the family. They were the ones that I kept following around and getting into the kitchen and whatnot. And so I had the opportunity to live with them when I was very small on their farm in a little town in Hayesville, North Carolina. And that's really where all this started. We have pictures around our facility here of me. You know, I'm 3 years old with my grandmother right next to the mixer in my diapers. So yeah, it's been with me my whole life. And
that's great. So did you keep continuing? Because I did, like, I grew up in a big Italian family, meaning all my cousins and relatives. So we always used to get together on Sundays and just cook. And I just thought everybody else did that. I didn't realize it wasn't. So we did that, and I didn't really get into the culinary field until a little bit later in life. So did you just kind of jump into that as your main working career? Did you?
I would have to say yes, because my very first job was in a restaurant, and believe it or not, as hard as it may be to believe, I was 8 years old and I was a dishwasher, and I worked in a Chinese restaurant.
Wow.
Yeah, so I've been working since 8 years old. So I guess, yeah, I'm way surpassed 25 years in the industry now that I aged myself a little bit. But yeah, so from there, I was in the back of the house, and then, my journey continued, and I found myself just in the restaurants. And, there's one thing that I've noticed, and this is probably for a lot of us in this industry, is, once you get into that industry, it tends to kind of keep pulling you back in, even if you don't want to be there. And so I found, like I said, I've managed in restaurants. I've been in the back of the house with restaurants. I've waited tables, you name it, I've done it. So that journey kind of took me off in different directions. Eventually, I worked quite a bit of my career with Whole Foods. I was a private event chef for them for some time. Did a lot of menu development for them, did menu development for other restaurants, not only here in Georgia, but also out in Tennessee, kind of the Knoxville area. I got into my own catering thing as well. But really, I've just always found myself in the restaurant. So I did eventually make my way over into the culinary college, and so I was alumni of Le Cordon Bleu.
Oh, wow.
So I have had the French classical training as well. So it's not only hands-on, but I've got the knowledge and the background to support it.
Exactly. You have a great foundation. Yes. So are you, the places that you're mentioning are really down south? Do you specialize in Southern cooking? Or, I mean, if you went to Cordon Bleu, I'm sure you have a foundation of all types of cooking, but do you specialize in Southern dishes, Southern recipes?
I do a lot of Southern cooking. I am from the South. I am from Atlanta, Georgia, born and raised. And so, yeah, that's definitely one of my signature things. I'm very well known for my smoked brisket. A lot of people come far and wide for that. But really, when I look into things, it's I think my specialty comes with fusion, really. And we've seen a lot more of fusion cuisines as the years have come. But I think that's something that I've always been doing because I've always wanted to put a twist on your traditional meals, especially here in the South. So, Southern food is my home. It is my roots. It is my blood vein. But
Right.
you know, really, it's really just about anything that I can get my hands on because of the passion that's there inside of me.
Yes. So tell us about this. It's called Little Farmhouse Catering, but
Mhm.
you said it's now an event space, or you have both catering and events?
So, Little Farmhouse Cafe, which a lot of people here in Georgia know us by, we
Uh-huh.
had a great local farm to table breakfast, brunch, and lunch venue. And we had that for, gosh, I guess it was about close to 5 years.
Uh-huh.
And we still have this location. And about a
Uh-huh.
year ago, we actually flipped our concept. We closed the restaurant to the public and we made it a special event space. So now here at this space, we
Uh-huh.
offer filming. We do filming of movies, music videos here.
Oh,
One of the main things that we do is we
uh-huh.
do very unique private chef dinners that we
Uh-huh.
host here, but also we have this available for our community to host parties, rehearsal dinners, corporate events, business meetings, anything
Uh-huh.
that you could think of that you would need a nice, cozy, relaxing space
Uh-huh.
to kind of join and gather amongst your friends and family. That's what we've provided here. And we used to do that on a daily basis with our restaurant, but
Right.
now we're able to offer a lot more and we have a lot more time to really dig into our specialties.
So is this at the location of where the restaurant was?
Yes.
Oh, it is. Okay, so now it's
Yes.
a special event place. So yeah, you
Mhm.
would probably be able to get into more, yes, more things offering this as a
Mhm.
special events place, which is really interesting. So, so what is anything like new and happening now that we should be aware of or whatever with the
Oh, yeah,
farmhouse? New
absolutely.
things or events coming up and
Yes, there are.
yeah.
So we've been experimenting with these themed private dinners here,
Uh-huh.
and so we've done murder mystery dinners here before. We've done Valentine's dinners, and we've done a spin on them.
Uh-huh.
And when we create these dinners here, it's not just a dinner that you come to and you sit and you get great food. We actually
Right.
try to interact with our customers. So you know whether it's a trivia thing that we've designed around the meals, or if we're bringing in local farmers to speak to our guests or anything of that nature, we are trying to involve the guests. We're trying to create an atmosphere when they're here, and it's
Mhm.
just not a quiet, cozy dinner. But we do have those events where we do make those intimate dinners as well.
Mhm.
One of the most exciting things that we have coming up, and that is going to be in July.
Yeah.
We are creating this thing called a chef's roundtable.
Uh-huh.
So I'll be hosting this event here, and we're bringing in a lot. We're bringing in food and beverage wine,
Uh-huh.
and wine magazine. We're bringing in a lot of different chefs that are around that are doing different things, whether it's with
Uh-huh.
schools, whether it's with organizations, whether
Mhm.
it's with Georgia Organics. We're
Uh-huh.
bringing in farmers. We're bringing in food bloggers. You
Uh-huh.
name it. We're bringing in people that love food, that
Uh-huh.
have a stamp on the industry here in Atlanta, and we're bringing it in as a networking event. We're bringing it in to showcase what we do,
Mhm.
a little bit about me as well, and we're just trying to break bread with our community.
So basically a great event for foodies and kind of, it sounds like sort of like a convention, but I guess more of a special event type of convention for foodies then. Almost everything you could think of
Yeah,
for
and
foodies.
really, I haven't quite looked at it that way,
Uh-huh.
but because I look at it more as a kind of an intimate night and dinner
There
of
you go.
sharing food and thoughts
Right.
and creativity and innovation and all those things. But yes, you
Yes.
you are right. I mean, that's kind of what it's circled around.
Yes, yes, definitely. Oh, that sounds great. So
Mhm.
tell us about this nickname that you have and how did you get that?
Yep. So the other side of me, and who
Yes.
really started this whole concept, who really started my launch into this industry,
Yes.
who started the Little Farmhouse Cafe, who started the catering and all of
Uh-huh.
that, and really getting us out there, is
Yes.
Mr. Delicious,
There
and
you
that
go.
is me, Mr.
Mhm.
Delicious. And how this name came about was years and years ago. I was doing an event called Koshan 555, and that's with heritage breed hogs. And I got the opportunity to work amongst some of the best chefs in the South. And through that, I was able to gain a lot of knowledge, a lot of skill. And, you know, I happened to be wearing a shirt at that time as a joke of Mr. Delicious. And so since then, it just kind of stuck with me. And throughout the opportunities that I've had with different organizations that I've worked with, doing my own businesses, and also doing a lot of personal chefing and private chef dinners at people's homes and weddings and things like that, the word delicious just kept coming up. And it was just, you know, oh, this is delicious. Oh, this is delicious. Oh, your food is delicious. And not trying to toot my own horn, but what I'm getting at is that name just began to really resonate with me, resonate with others. And it was a great conversational piece. And so we created this brand, and this brand was Mr. Delicious. And so we started our company, our catering company, which is about 12 years old now. And it was known as MRD Foods, but it originally was known as Mr. Delicious Catering. And we were doing much more whimsical things. We were doing festivals and all these playful things. And then we started to get a little more elegant, and we were doing weddings and things like that. And it always kind of tickles me because I think back of that, because my wife, one time we're doing a very nice wedding, and it's, you know, it's being represented by Mr. Delicious. And she just said, you know, maybe we should think about kind of stepping back a little bit and kind of revisiting that. And so that's where it started to create other ventures for us, open up other doors, and we started to look at ourselves a little more different. But yes, Mr. Delicious is here. Mr. Delicious is a brand. Mr. Delicious is going to be, you know, offering a cookbook soon. Mr. Delicious is going to offer his line of spices. And one day, hopefully, you're going to see Mr. Delicious on TV.
Oh, wow. That's great. That's great. Yeah. Well, hopefully you'll let us know when you get some of those ventures, or at least a book together. And we'd love to have you back on with, you know, info on your book as well. Well, that's great. Chris, tell everybody where they can find you. Do you have a website, or is there a website for Little Farmhouse Cafe?
Yes, absolutely. So if you go to littlefarmhousecatering.com, you're going to see our beautiful website there. Please sign up for the newsletter, because you'll find out more and more about the events that we're doing, where we're going to be, what we're offering. We do a lot of holiday offerings as well, so keep that in thought. And then you can also see us on Instagram, and a lot of our beautiful food and what we're doing there as well. And that's Little Farmhouse Cafe Instagram.
Okay, that's great. That's great. And so I'll try to have some of that info put on the website for this show, the marialiberatishow.com, so people can also, those listening out there, if you didn't catch that, you should be able to look that up as well. Well, great, Chris. I guess we'll just say until next time, hopefully you'll let us know when you'll reach out when your book is ready, or one of the other many projects that you're working on is ready also. And I'm sure we'll be talking to you soon. And certainly for anybody that's going to be in the Atlanta, Georgia area, you definitely want to consider making a stop there.
Yes.
Great. All right, Chris, thanks so much for being on the show.
Yeah, thank you for having me today.
Okay.